Hi everyone! Welcome to My Opinions Are Trash. Today we will be ranking the Degrassi characters from Season 3. I won't be putting Rick on here because if you've seen the show, you will understand that he doesn't even deserve to be on the tier. It's like putting Dean on here. He's just at such a low point that he's not even worthy of being on the tier at all. The one I will put at the bottom is Jay. Jay is terrible. He only cares about himself and making other people miserable. The first time we see him, he calls Dylan a slur, and he just makes Sean do things to put himself in bad situations. Emma is still at the bottom. I don't really have anything nice to say about her, aside from the fact that at least this season she starts respecting Simpson more, and her fight with Alex was hilarious. But she's still the same. She thinks she knows better than everyone else, while mostly causing drama. I especially hated her when she was getting mad at Manny for wanting an abortion. Okay, I think we finally lost Kendra to the black hole. She was there, but she also wasn't, and I don't think we're going to see her again. Remember Alex in her closeted days? She didn't really do anything memorable or good this season. I did like her fight with Emma. Chris had some potential as a character. He seemed to be a voice of reason when Emma was being Emma. I wish he was more relevant. Once again, Toby doesn't do anything, but at least this season, he isn't as irritating as he was in Season 2. I did kind of feel sorry for him. Surprisingly, she's not in D tier this time. If it wasn't for the fact that she revealed Manny's pregnancy to the whole school, she possibly could have had a good season. One of my favorite episodes is when she skips school with Paige and Spinner, and she performs as Elvis. It showed a different side to her that I enjoyed, and I wish we could have seen that more often rather than her being completely self-absorbed and whiny all the time. Everyone always complains about how she acted in that episode, but they forget that she's a teenager processing a whole mess of shit. So of course she isn't going to be happy all the time. I know sometimes it was annoying and her actions were uncalled for, but she could have done and has done a lot worse. This was probably Dylan's best season. I thought he was sweet at first, but also kind of boring. It's a disgrace that we barely see Liberty this season. She does nothing, and the only thing she did was she tried to be edgy, and Sean reminded her that she was as edgy as a butter knife. That was funny, but otherwise I hate that her character was kind of abandoned this season. She seemed to be mostly in the background, and I am so sorry, Liberty. Someone else who I didn't feel like got enough storylines this season was JT. I love how much JT was able to grow as a character last season, only for him to be kind of pushed to the side this time. He treated Toby horribly just to make himself look cool in front of his friends. And he randomly was attracted to Manny, even though I don't necessarily like them together. He was still very sweet to her in the last episode, so I say he belongs in B tier. Craig was wrong as hell for what he did to Manny and Ashley. He should not have cheated, and that's why he's moved down to B tier. I still think he's a well-written character, though. The episode where he helps Emma find her dad is really sweet, and that was one of his best moments. It's also really sad watching how excited he was about the idea of raising a baby because he didn't think he had anyone else. Craig is one of the saddest characters, and I do have a soft spot for him, even though I think he can be kind of an asshole sometimes. I also think this was one of the best seasons for Ellie. We got to see more of what her home life was like, and she got some actual storylines that were decent. I think she was at her best here because this is the closest she's been to an individual character whose storylines don't revolve around men she chases after. And while I hated her and Sean together when I first watched this, I actually kind of like them now. They seem to have a much healthier relationship than her other ones, and even though I haven't always liked them together, this relationship really isn't that bad. Poor Terry. I am so sorry for what the writers did to you. I hate this because this is the last time we see Terry, and it's also the last time she will be on the tier. Even though she disappeared for the majority of the season, I still love her very much. She's too sweet for any of the characters at Degrassi, and I hate Rick for what he did to her. She deserves so much better, and I wish she was able to stay on the show and have more of a purpose. She's still one of my all-around favorites, and I love you, Terry. I am so sorry. The majority of the fan base seems to hate her because of her lack of storylines, which I do wish she had more of, but she's such a sweet character. She's loyal to her friends, especially Terry and Paige. She and Jimmy seem to be the main ones helping Terry through her abusive relationship, and she seemed to be the main one who noticed anything was wrong to begin with. I don't think she and Jimmy were a bad couple. I think they were cute, and I wish we could have seen more of their relationship. Hazel deserved better. Sean. He's another one of my all-around favorites, and he sucked for a good portion of this season. Him stealing Simpson's laptop while he had cancer was low. I also didn't like how he acted when he was hanging around Jay, but he straightened out, and he apologized to Mr. Simpson. He tried to make everything up to him even though he was broken up with Emma. Also, when Liberty had a thing for him, he made sure to make her feel better after he rejected her, and even in a Slim Shady phase, I thought that was sweet. Yay! Manny got some development this season, aside from being Emma's sidekick. I think her development this season was well done. She got tired of being seen as a child and went out of her way to break away from that image. Then she started hooking up with Craig while he was with Ashley. Then she got pregnant and decided that having an abortion was her best option, which was a storyline I think was handled very well. This got Manny a bad reputation, which is sad considering Craig did not. I think Manny is a well-rounded character and I like her. Spinner had a low point this season too. I did not like how he bullied Marco at all, but he very quickly came back around and went so far as to set him up with Dylan. While it doesn't excuse how he acted at first, it was nice to see him grow to accept Marco. I also still love how much he cared about Terry. One of my favorite moments this season was when he was so upset about everything that happened that he was ready to fight Rick, and then he eventually broke down and said that he was just as bad as him for being violent. That moment always gets me because Spinner is obviously nothing like Rick, but seeing something like that happen can affect you, and I always loved his and Terry's relationship. I'm still sad they never got together. Marco also had one of the best storylines this season. Last season we saw that he was gay and he came out to Ellie. This season picked up where they left off, and Ellie told him she couldn't cover for him anymore. This was when Spinner learned he was gay and he started treating him horribly as he came out. We also know that his parents are deeply homophobic, and that makes things just as hard on him, as he's only just now learned himself that he was gay. And one of the hardest moments to watch was when he got beaten up. That moment broke my heart. Marco was just so sweet and adorable. I don't see how you couldn't like him. I'm putting him all the way in S tier. She's already gotten so much better since season 1. What I like about Paige specifically is that while she's a mean girl, she's not like a cartoon villain. She's human and she's not nasty to people just for the hell of it. She normally has a reason to not like someone, but this season we also got to see plenty of her good side too. Even though she was the one who told Ashley, for the most part she was supportive of Manny. She brought Ashley out of her own self-pity, and she was very supportive of Terry, and we can see how that situation affected both her and Spinner. Between this and what she went through last season, I think Paige has grown a lot as a character, and she went from being the last person on the tier to being all the way to S. My favorite for this season is Jimmy. He's too good for any of these characters. When Spinner started openly bullying Marco for being gay, Jimmy was there for him the whole time. He didn't care about him being gay, and he was the main one who helped him when he got beaten. He was a really good friend, and aside from Hazel, he was the main one helping Terry when she was with Rick. He caught on to how poorly he was treating her, and he told her that if he ever bothered her again to let him know. Jimmy is the best possible friend you could have, and I love him so much. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Season 4 will be coming shortly.